Welcome to another episode of the Working Hour with Mike and Shane. I'm Mike, and across the table from me is my best friend Shane. Shane, go ahead and say hello. Tell us the bonus track you select for this week, and then I'll get into the thick of the album that we're mainly talking about today.
Hello. This week we are going to be doing, for the bonus track, we're going to be doing Born Slippy by Albert Hammond Jr.
And as you guys all know, we're in here to talk about the album In Streams by Centaur. And I don't mean the creature in the In Streams Raiders game, which I know nothing about. I just saw that on the internet, and I was like, Shane will get a kick out of that and be like, that is not up Mike's out. Did you?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
Didn't know. In Streams was the only album released by Centaur, which is an American rock band performed by Hum frontman Matt Talbot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going with. In the early 2000s. Released in 2001 on Martian Go Home Records. This album features space rock sounds similar to Hum, with themes often described as melancholic. So that is all I have for the intro about the album. Shane, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
Okay, well then we're going to start with track number 1. Life Begins, 4 minutes, 52 seconds. There's not a lot going on in the intro, I guess is what I was trying to say. It's kind of hard to put my finger on the instrumentation at the beginning, the first 55 seconds. Almost like accordion sounding, like bagpipey. I don't know. The acoustic guitar comes in right after the 55-second mark, with Matt's vocals coming 10 seconds later. This is where my life begins. It's very free and like uplifting, kind of like a nature-y vibe that it puts off. It's a little bit different sounding vocals, but still, like, it's pretty easy to identify his vocals. At 124, minute 24, the percussion begins. 134, the track kind of explodes with the bass guitar, and it's kind of popping off, joining everything else, the percussion, the strumming guitar. At 134, the track really takes flight for me, like energy-wise, before it kind of mellowing back out. However, it does kind of like yo-yo back and forth, usually going back into the bass riff, which is really punctual on the chorus as part of the yo-yo effect that I was kind of elaborating on. Track is very interesting based on its happy, good feeling vibes with the lyrics going, "This is where my life begins," on one verse to "This is how I want it to end." But it still kind of feels, I don't know. I mean, death is inevitable. Right after the 3 minute mark, we get an extended instrumental with it just following the main track. The song is kind of laid down, not really venturing, not really getting too wild. Uh, it's about a minute, 30 seconds of that before Matt comes in, closing the song with one more rip at the chorus, but very softly, staying with the mellow vibe of the instrumentation. Uh, Overall, the song grew on me. The first two listens, I didn't really hate it, but I was kind of like, eh. But now I don't mind it so much. It's still not going to get a crazy high score from me. I gave this a 3.5.
Okay. So I got the song opens with, and I could be off on this, but I just put multiple droning guitars coming in and out. Kind of gives off a psychedelic, almost earthy vibe to it. This goes for a good like 55 seconds before the acoustic guitar comes in over the droning guitars. 10 seconds later, Matt comes in on the vocals. From what I've read, this album is supposed to be pretty sad, but his vocal delivery on this track is pretty soft and has a lot less of a bite to it than it did in Hum.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild hearing Matt Talbot making music in the 2000s. I'm pretty sure this is his. I'm pretty sure his next full length release didn't come until 2020, and like before this, it was Downward is Heavenward. So this is just kind of like in the gray area.
That's
where
what we
it's
covered, right?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. This is
Check
just.
that out on the. Is that on the new channel though?
I think. I think so. I think so.
Yeah. Don't go to our old channel. Don't support that.
Yeah, we don't support that.
No.
Uh,
What if we could log into it?
uh, but yeah, this this song sounds a bit like the Contemporaries at the time. Uh, at points, it kind of sounds a little bit like Incubus,
I can see that.
just a smidge, and also maybe just a little bit like the band Filter. Um, Wake up my airplane, like similar vibes. It isn't until 121 the drums finally start up before we get a musical change up without the droning without the droning. The electric guitar kind of reminds me a little bit again of Hum's sound. This is where the rivers flow, cooler streams and never slow, falling down for them to know. I'll be here and then I'll go. This is where my life begins. 254 through until 426, we get an extended instrumental before coming back for the closing lyrics. This is how I want it to end. The song got me curious as to what was going to come next, as it was such a departure from what I've come to expect from Matt Talbot. Um, Not bad, but it didn't like wow me. Although I know that that will come soon enough. I gave this a 3.4 out of 5.
So you hadn't heard "Wait for the Sun" before this album?
Um, I may have.
Because that contradicts what I was gonna say. Is I thought you showed me "Wait for the Sun."
I may have. I think that's like that in the same place are like probably the only two that I kind of knew
Yeah.
beforehand.
I mean, it'd been a minute, but it's fuzzy. But I think that's how I remembered it.
I got you. So, Wait for the Sun, 4 minutes and 56 seconds. Muted electric guitars, followed up by the drums and bass guitar shortly after. The tone comes off as like kind of tired and worn down, but continuing on. Matt's vocals come in about 27 seconds in, with a little bit of a dragged out echo to them. Clouds roll in, into the swell again, and fill the worn out place in you. Lift me up again to the long lost place in you. The acoustic guitar comes in prominently for the chorus. Think that we should wait for the sun, wait for the sun. With like some like, there's also some like faint backing vocals there too. At 2:09, the second verse starts up, but it's over pretty quick, taking us back to the chorus. The lyrics are a little on the repetitive side. At 3:38 through until the end, we get an extended instrumental outro with the faint backing vocals come in. Wait for the sun. At 4:30, the song starts to properly slow. The last 15 or so seconds of the song is a nice, like, soft ending with quiet guitars winding down. The vocals have a very bright, expressive delivery at certain moments. Whenever he's wait for the sun, like it's good. But I did find this track to be just a little on the repetitive side. I gave this a kind of went low on this one. Gave it a 3.2.
Really,
Mm-hmm.
you did not like it. I really like this one. I had read, and I always thought this kind of had a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe I am embellishing a little bit here. I've always kind of once I read a couple people talking about it, I can definitely connect the two. This is like a trip song,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Because when you trip, you're just usually whenever I've tripped, it's you're up
Mm-hmm.
wee hours of the morning, and it's think we should wait for the sun. You know,
Okay.
you want to see the sunrise, and that kind of really like amplified how much I like the song. But yeah, I thought for sure you sent me this, and I thought you really liked it. That's why I think I was a little caught off by your. Would you say 3.2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's fair enough because it's. I don't know. I mean, I like it. I gave it a much higher score than a 3.2.
Sure.
This is a pretty good one to me. I like the main chorus. I think we should wait for the sun. It's been stuck. It was stuck in my head for like a couple days because I just kind of liked his harmony on that so much. It's funny because I'll sing Matt's parts, but I also sing like the backing. He's like
Mm-hmm.
wait for the sun, wait for the
Sun.
yeah. So it's kind of goofy. It's like I like to sing all the parts. Um, but Matt's vocals are definitely more of what I like here versus track one. Um, the song gives us like an ample amount of bass too. The guitar is still acoustic, but it sounds kind of amp driven. The opening strum riff with a bass backed off a little and tight percussion is all before the 15-second mark. It kind of like really lets the track build. Matt's vocals kind of sorty. They're sort of like floaty sounding, a little distorted compared to track one, but still very easy to understand. The track to me really peaked at 118 with the first go at the verse, the chorus rather. I think we should wait for the sun, wait for the sun. It's true now, we should wait for the sun. All these lives are feeling as one, and the trip is done. That kind of goes back to the trip is done. Uh, like I said, it gives me a little bit of psychedelic vibes with the rapture of green on the vine again. Will keep me coming backwards through, and the courses that we know will lead us high and lift me up again to the long lost place with you. I don't put a whole lot into it, but I really like the writing on this. And compared to track one, I really like this one. And this, I think this is the thing we've talked about before. And I was literally telling someone the other day, like the first song you hear from a band that you fall in love with, or the first album that you really vibe with, it kind of sticks with you. And this was the first song that I really got into off this album. It was standalone for a long time before I actually picked it for the podcast. But I gave this a I gave it a 4.0. I like this one a lot.
Sure.
That will take us to track number 3, The Same Place. It's got a long run time, which a lot of tracks do on here. We got 7 minutes, 35 seconds. One of the best intros on the album, in my opinion. Uh, it's very bass driven on the opening riff, along with a main guitar, which sounds kind of like electric acoustic again. Percussion slowly creeps in its way in, and everything builds till around 116. The percussion, though, it really ignites at that 116 mark, like I was saying. It's a really great sound. We get a few loop to this before the vocals finally make an appearance at the 210 mark. It's a really big build up. Um, it I don't want to say it pays off completely, but it does pay off. I think pretty good. Like it could definitely. Matt's not going to be one to just his vocals don't really match like the heaviness of the music here, but I wouldn't expect them to go any more than like I like his vocals, so that's fine. Um, but his vocals are deep and kind of quiet, muffled a little bit, a little harder to understand than the previous tracks, but still not like uncomprehendable. The song, for as long as it is, doesn't have a lot of lyrics, which is more or less a theme. More often than not, I guess, a theme of the album is there'll be not a lot of lyrics with long run times. And this, like a lot of the songs on the album, you'll come to find as we get into it, kind of rely on like a long instrumental sound to kind of carry it through. I'm not really crazy about any lyrics on this one, but I did like "We thought of all your names." I hold nothing else. She holds what remains, and the ways that we grow and the dust that we become again will rest in the same place in the end. I think it's just an excellent track musically with solid vocal work from Matt, of course. The slow delivery of the last verse really sends the track out on a high note vocally. The instrumental on this, so far outshines Matt, though, on the vocals. And Matt is kind of why I'm here and why you would be here, because he's kind of our guy that we like. Um, but I think musically, this track is better than what Matt adds to it vocally. Um, but it's kind of come like you would expect that just based on the fact of how instrumental heavy this is. Um, but the sound does kind of switch up a little bit after that last verse of someday, some way, someday we'll both feel as moved again until we're gone. After this verse, the bass riff kind of fades away and we get more of just the electric guitar. Uh, this sound kind of takes over and leads the track out. Overall, I liked it. It's just really long. Um, Live, this would go over differently because I mean you'd be there and you'd be enjoying the music. But as far as like just listening to this at home or just being a recorded track, I just thought it was a little bit too long. A little bit. I hate saying it, but little time wasted on how long it is. But I can appreciate it for sure. Like I didn't have anywhere to go. I'm just critiquing here. That would be my only gripe with it. Because all the musical aspects of it were excellent. I just wish it was stripped down a little bit more and a little bit more balanced. The lyric to musical aspect, the lyric to music ratio, I should say. I gave this a 3.6.
Oh, good. You are 36.
What'd you
Uh,
give it? Are you way lower or way higher?
higher.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, a lot. So
Well,
yeah,
isn't that funny? Because on the
yeah.
previous
Look
track,
at us. So this was my introduction to Centaur, and I think it may have spoiled me on them. Spoiler: the song slaps and is probably the closest to sounding like Hum. Um, the electric guitar slowly and quietly comes in, opening the song. It has like such angst to it. Then at 27 seconds, the bass guitar comes in, sounds amazing. Um, And it
And
met.
let me interrupt for just a
Yeah.
minute. That's the thing that's kind of missing from Hum. There's
Hmm.
not a lot of bass.
Sure.
It's that acoustic strumming guitar. Where on Centaur you get that bass is there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go away now.
But yeah, the and it
Yeah.
like yeah, and it
Ooh.
matches up with the regular guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Just it just sounds so good. um, but yeah, this droning guitar and the drums fade in before like really popping off at a minute 16 with the and like it just drops. At 2:10, the vocals finally hit. That's a long stretch of song without any vocals, but man, I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's fucking,
It's really fucking good build up.
yeah.
It deserves to take its time. This is
It's
also
foreplay.
yeah. This is the most like Matt's vocals have sounded like they did with Hum. I'll try to stop bringing them up so
I feel like
much.
it's. I didn't pick up a lot on that in this track. I lay it down on a later track,
Okay.
but I mean, I see what you're saying.
For a 7.5 minute song, this doesn't have a ton of lyrics, but they are like really solid. I do like the opening line of "These eyes will die in waves." Um, Then later on, we dreamt of all of your lives as we carry home dust from the cloudless summer skies, and the salt that we give is of us and all we ever had, waste in the same place in the end. Each set of verses is punctuated by instruments, instrument breaks, including some pretty heavy warbled guitar riffs. At 5:34 through until the end is full instrumental breakdown with some pretty like punchy moments from the drums and some steady bass. At 6:34, the guitar revs and starts starts driving the song to the end as additional erratic guitars start coming in to kind of close out the song. Despite coming in at just under 8 minutes, the song kind of flew by for me. Not a moment really felt wasted. Even the extended outro kind of worked for me. This is Centaur's top song on Spotify, and for what I believe to be good reason. I gave this a 4.3 out of 5,
Okay, look at you.
which that might be a little generous.
No, I think it is a little bit, but I have nothing wrong with
I
that.
could probably
I could easily go 3.8
I,
on
I
this
I could go down to like a 4.1.
because you said a very important part here. Because my big gripe with this album is that there's a lot of length when we don't really need all of it. But this, I'm listening to it as we're recording this, and I'm like, yeah, this is really just kind of flown by.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could be a little bit higher on that.
On to track number 4. We have Stranger on 5.
It should be Stranger on 4 if they knew what they were doing.
If you think about it.
Or move it to track 5, call it Strangers on 5.
Um, yeah, the song opens with what sounds like some like chatter at a party, but as it goes on, it sounds electronic and from like a pre-existing like recording. Tempo of the song is really steady. Well, it's sorry. The tempo of the song between its vocals, guitar, and drums is slow and steady. Um, Strangers on 5, moving slow underground. And the Seekers released and said, I can see through these clouds. The chatter from the beginning pops up throughout the song. Um, at 3:04, we get some distinct moments of bass guitar and drums kind of steering the song. At 3:58, the guitar starts coming back in with some pretty yet like muted synth. This being an extended instrumental break as the chatter goes on. Around 5:30, we get this rattling noise as some brass and flute starts to come in as the music starts picking up in pace and volume. We are strangers on 5. 7 minutes in, the music shifts into more heavy guitar riffs and punchy drums. This goes on through until the end of the song before fading out, and we go back to the chatter briefly. The song, you definitely feel the length more than the last song. I think its slower pace and quieter sound makes it a little harder to kind of get lost in. It's like it's kind of taking its time here. However, I did appreciate like the use of synth, flute, and brass. Like that was just something I didn't really expect. Um, this might be my lowest rated song on the track. I gave this a 2.8.
Bro, we are you getting the shovel out on these scores, bud.
I could give it a 3.
Matt, if you're listening, buddy, we'll be at your show in Chicago. I'm the chunkier of the two, so
Just
you
yeah,
see us. I'm a
you
fan.
shoot the other one. All right,
You don't shoot anybody, Matt, okay?
let's do it.
So yeah, Strangers on Five. First 8 seconds is just kind of that muffled conversation before the electric guitar starts. Kind of just strums in casually. The conversation kind of continues but fades into the background once the percussion and Matt's vocals start, which is around the same time, around the 25-second mark. Matt's vocals are excellent, as I mean I've come to know the more and more I dive into his catalog of music. But the delivery of that first verse, Strangers on Five, moving slow over ground, is very good. It's repeated often in the track, but it changes vocally with the way Matt spins it. It's a long song with lengthy instrumental segments between, like, for example, we have 122 to 210. We almost get a whole minute of just an instrumental. It does come back, though. It brings back the muffled conversation, noises that we heard in the intro. Matt's vocals do come back in. The song stays pretty to the chorus and is pretty mellow the majority of the runtime. From 3:05 to 6:40, it's just a big instrumental gap. The guitar does kind of change slightly. Conversation comes back in, and after that, shortly after that, the tone kind of changes. Almost sounds like a keyboard playing the same riff as the guitar was earlier. The two sounds are kind of later combined together with some synth and almost like a horn sounding instrument. After the instrumental, Matt's vocals come back, and the sound delivery of Strangers on Five sounds a little different. The guitar is also a lot heavier and distorted after that 6:40 run time. Vocals are also short-lived, about 20 seconds before the heavy guitar riff and percussion play the track out. I'm not crazy about this, mostly because just that long instrumental. However, though, the last verse on the main riff, the last version, I did that a second ago. The last version of the main riff, post 640 guitar, was pretty good. And while it was a short loop, kind of just, a tight short loop, it was fine, though. I liked it. Overall score, though, 3.4. It's just too long. That's my only complaint here, is it's kind of just hard to hold my attention with it utilizing, the track kind of just utilizes that same riff from A to Z, so I wasn't super hype on that. Moving on to track number 5. We have one that's harder harder to pronunciate. One might guess. I'm gonna
This
take a
one's
shot
all
at it.
you.
Placencia. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Runtime of 5 minutes 13 seconds. To me, this is the most hum sounding intro we've gotten. And that's just my opinion. The electric acoustic strumming on the intro is really nice. Matt's vocals come in right around the 20-second mark. Opening verse is fine. I like the writing. There's no way that you are stuck on me like you used to be. And I like that a lot. We were kind of talking about it earlier. That's like the early stages on in the relationship where it's, yeah, you're not stuck on me like you used to be.
Yeah,
It's like, well, it's hard, okay?
goes both ways.
Yeah, no, it does. It's hard to keep the fire burning hot, hot, hot forever, though. You just got to keep the fire burning. The 58-second mark, though, is really where the song peaks for me, and I anticipate, Shane, that you're kind of in that same boat with me. That delivery of "Wish we were so gone." It's a great track, just kind of hanging on that. I like that delivery of "Wish we were so gone." It's very good. Not that the previous tracks weren't great, but I really like the construct of this. It's very easy strumming. Matt's vocals are smooth and easy to understand. The writing is pretty good too. The track also features a pretty mild, wild guitar solo. It's guitar solo-esque. It's kind of short, and there's a lot of instrumentation playing on in the background, so I don't really consider it a full guitar solo. But this fades around the 3 minute 15-second mark to a very deep, bassy guitar. I generally really got into this the first or second time I heard it. I can't remember exactly what listen, but that instrumental, that riff, I really did kind of, I liked it. I was getting into it just because it is so catchy. But Matt's vocals do come in around the 4:10 mark. They come back in. And I like that too. I'm glad it just didn't get too obsessive with the instrumental break. At 4:46, there's like a stutter in Matt's delivery. I'm not sure if this is a bad recording on Spotify or if this was a thing legit, meant to be. I didn't really cross reference that with other recordings, so I'm not sure. But it kind of feels fitting where it's at. I gave this a 3.9.
Okay. So I got electric guitar to open, followed by Talbot's vocals, having a closeness to them, with a small bit of distortion to them as well. There's no way that you're stuck on me like you used to be, and we never wade out too far till the skin begins to scar, to disappear without any trace, to open my eyes and see only your face, and never to be away from your side. About a minute in, the drum starts to come in. I do appreciate the instrumentation of the acoustic guitar, the electric guitar, the bass, the drums. It's very softly mixed, like alongside Matt's vocals before the electric guitar starts shredding at 219. And Matt's vocals, like he starts to vocalize in the background a little bit. Then at 316, the guitar gets crazy, heavy, and reverb crunchy as the vocalization comes to an end. The song goes back to its initial sound from the first like minute or so of the song. As the guitar sounds, it starts to sound reversed. Um, it kind of tripped me out for a second when I first heard it. I was like, wait, is that? Yeah, it sounds like reversed. I don't know. Song winds down for the last like 30 seconds or so, kind of faking me out. I was thinking the song would have like a hard cut end with the lyrics "warm, lunar, cold breeze" to the end. This was far more palatable to me with a shorter runtime. I also like the heavy guitar in the second half, as well as the reversed guitar. I thought that was a nice touch. But I overall gave this a 3.5 out of 5. So this is one of my higher rated songs on the album. On track number 6, we have Thimbles coming in at 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Layered electric guitars ring out, followed by some light cymbals before the drums and bass drop in. It's about 45 seconds before the vocals hit. They're subtle, kind of buried beneath the heaviness of the guitar. While we were late into the album, I feel like now is a good time to mention what the album is about. While looking into the song, I read that this whole album, similar to If You Are to Bloom, is about Matt's son, who passed away not long after his birth. The lyrics really do spell it out for you. The opening verse about Matt's son being conceived and imagining what their son would grow up to be like. The second half of the verse is particularly devastating. Swimming to the surface to justify our lives, and we will think forever of a moment in time and in a breath you could not make. The chorus, you still keep us awake. Um, on the second chorus, there's some very faint like backing vocals. Our lives fell into a stone age. Song like, and there's plenty of other lyrics in the second chorus that are just equally as rough. The song doesn't change up too much musically, no big walls of sound or new instruments being implemented. The final line of the song, please forgive us as we make our way. Really heavy stuff on this song. It's one of the more standout tracks off the album. It's just hope that as time has gone on that things have gotten easier for them. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5.
So yeah, this one's got some really heavy distortion on the intro. I think kind of the best way you described it is just like layered guitar. Um, but that's kind of broken up a little bit with some strikes of the snare and added percussion just in general. It's very spacey on the delivery of Matt's vocals. I'm not crazy, however, about the music vocal mix here. I think Matt's vocals are a little bit harder to hear just because the music is a little overshadowing because it's kind of so loud and in your face. Still a solid listen, though. And like you said, Shane, this is about the passing of Matt's son. The lyrics are pretty hard when you connect this loss to the lyrics. His loss to the lyrics, I should say. There's a lot of good lyrics throughout here. I like the swimming to the surface to justify our lives. Let the ripples upon the lake, and we will think forever of a moment in time, and a breath you could not make. Uh, it's a very deep song. The chorus, "You still keep us awake," and how Matt kind of changes up the delivery of that a little bit just based on his emotion. His just raw emotion, I think, kind of playing into the track. Um, Second verse, just enough time to memorize lines to touch and taste your face, a glimpse into forever, and empty, aching lungs, and a breath you could not make. It's a heavy song based on the lyrics and the meaning behind them. I'm not going to say it's my favorite song, but it is definitely the one that pulls at my heart the most. And I think that that line, "You still keep us awake," is really relatable, and I think that's what I like about the song the most. It is a hard listen because it's so deep, but I think it's relatable for a lot of people. If you've lost someone and you can, you just you think about them, and "You still keep us awake" is a very good line. I think it's very relatable. Uh, and just the subject matter, while it's not great, and it's sad that something like this came together to make this track, so pretty. I think, like you were saying, hopefully it got easier for Matt as time went on, but I'm sure this helped a lot with him, like a some kind of version of therapy, if you will.
Mm.
Um, this though is like I said, this it's a sad subject matter, but I think the fact that I could put my paws around it and really get into the overall concept meaning of the song and how it's just so deep, and being a dad now 2 years into it, I couldn't imagine being robbed of that. So I give it maybe a little bit higher score than what it's worth, but I gave this a 3.7.
Okay.
That will move us to track number 7. Sorry if I froze there for a minute. I'm like, wait a
You're
minute,
good.
bud, you're the odds. We have Fields at 5 minutes, 58 seconds. A little more Mikey likey on the intro of this one compared to Thimbles. It's still heavy and distorted, but it seems a little bit more structured on the opening compared to Thimbles. The first minute is really just instrumental foreplay before we get the vocals. Again, though, it's a little hard to understand the lyrics because the music is kind of so loud. Um, but this is a song that I almost actually had to click a few places before finding the lyrics. I don't know if you really had problems with that, Shane, on this album, but I know, I mean, this isn't a widely popular album, but I do like the verse. Being hard to find lyrics, there was a couple verses that I do like. The Fields line, "Sweet Array, you made me this way." I like the harmony that Matt presents here. It works really good with the instrumentation on this track. It's another long track similar to its peers, but this track doesn't really fall on the long instrumentation and ride it out. There's not a huge lengthy segment of just instrumental here, which I liked. Overall, though, I'm not super crazy about it. It's kind of hard to make out what the track's saying, just because it is kind of hard to hear. Musically, it wasn't the greatest either. Didn't really fall off the course from what we've gotten before, but it was just a little so-so for me. I gave this a 3.4 out of 5.
Okay. So I got heavy shredding to open paired up with the drums. This kind of reminded me a good little bit of Smashing Pumpkins. Um, about 35 seconds in, some psychedelic guitar can be heard. When the vocals come in, about a minute in, it kind of reminded me of just a little bit of Beck.
This reminds me, now that you say the Smashing Pumpkins, it reminds me of Rocket.
Okay.
I could hear it. But now you say Beck, it's like I can see the vocals sounding a little bit
Yeah.
like Beck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way they kind of drone out and aren't entirely clear. We feel like giving it all away. Full fragrance of days. These fields lie in sweet array. The chorus comes in much more clear vocally. The two of us were broken, just left here, no strings of discontent, longing to be close again. This song's similar to the last one. It's pretty straightforward, just verse to chorus, no major instrumental breakdown or bridge. The only exception is an extended chorus to close out the song and like a very brief instrumental. I particularly like the lines. Well, the line, "A place that feels like diamonds." It repeats in the last minute of the song. At the very end, we do get just a little tiny instrumental to close out the track with a little more a little more a
What?
little bit of a little more in the background. No, sorry,
He's
a
about
little
at
more.
his limit,
I'm
folks.
at my limit. All right, I had 2 beers. Okay, with a little more of the backwards guitar from earlier in the album. That's what I was trying to say.
Proud of you.
But I totally fuck that up whenever I
Don't you
type
hate
that
that? We're
up.
like, who wrote this?
Shit, who, me?
I'm gonna jerk him off later.
I gave this a 3.4 out of 5.
Nice.
So on to track number 8.
Short track. You blink and you miss it.
God. Okay, so this is In Streams. It's 13 minutes and 18 seconds. There's a quick 1-2 beat from the drum, followed up by some very heavy, crunchy guitar riffs. Around 30 seconds in, we get what sounds like either a synth or a stringed instrument. This against the heavy kind of reminds me a little bit of Faith No More. We'll get there as it kind of goes along. The vocals come in around a minute. In the tone, it's pretty foreboding. I saw the sunlight dapple your face. You felt like fire in a moment of grace. Remember how we laid there in afternoon blue. As the fawn thirsts for water, I'm thirsting for you. At 1:30, the heavy guitar and drums pull back. The song quiets to some bass and light guitar or light drumming, as some synth comes creeping in. The pulse of our lives slip through like water in streams. The delivery reminds me a little bit of Apollo, off of yeah.
I can see it.
At 3:45, the music shifts back to its heavy guitar and drums. 5:20, it slows back and quiets again for a very long stretch until about the 9-minute mark, where it starts to quiet even more, sounding like the song is about to end. The synth then starts to pick up ringing until like 10:50, with some faint like crackling. The last minute or so really quiets and is really serene and contemplative, as an ending to the album. This is another instance of a lot of sounds coming together well and making for a real trip of a song. However, this did not need to be over 13 minutes long. Gave us a 2.9 out of 5.
Okay, I'm glad you kept it short because I kept it pretty damn short myself. What'd you give it? 2.9? Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
let
a
it
nice
out.
it's a nice I'm exhausted at this point. I'm done. Nice little drumming on the intro, that 1-2 tap like you were saying. It's got some heavy distorted guitar here and there. I really do like the sound. Um, and I don't think it's as distorted as the previous 2 tracks. This is a little bit more palatable in my opinion. The music though, I mean, this is a long track. 13 minutes is lengthy, and it doesn't tell enough of a story for me to really be intrigued by it for the whole runtime. There's plenty of instrumental swells and builds multiple times throughout. Um, Definitely, I picked up on some synth too, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I was thinking it was just synth or just some heavy guitar effects or something making the noise. Matt's vocals are typical on this track. I do like his vocals. They're still quiet, but the music is quiet too, so you can hear him a little bit better, which has kind of been the gripe on the last two. Um, I don't have a lot from it. Some of the lyrics, I like them. I like the fallen will thirst for water. I will first thirst for you. First. Um, and just to slip through like water and streams. I mean, it's clever and it's very pretty, and it's just kind of dreamy and drifty. But yes, it did not need to be as long as
Yeah.
it is. I'm not gonna go as low as you. I'm gonna give this just a 3-1.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was just once I saw the runtime, I was like, that's probably not gonna get a great score. I mean, there's not many songs over 7 minutes that aren't from the 70s that I can think of that are good.
Right.
And even some of them, it's like, that's kind of, man, I got stuff to do today.
Mm-hmm.
So, but overall thoughts on the album? What did you think?
So, overall, I think if this was just some like regular band that just like some band that wasn't, I didn't know.
Yeah.
This is some unknown band.
You had no
and just
ties to them
some
going
random
into
fucking
it.
album. I'd just be like, oh, it has like one song I really like and like one or two that are like pretty good, but like that
Other
would
than
kind of
that,
be the end of it.
yeah,
Fair
fair enough.
With this being Matt Talbot, like I do find it more interesting just being like a little side project of his, and I am glad that I listened to it, even if like I was like not very high on some songs. Like just having listened to it
Yeah,
all, I'm
you
like,
covered your bases.
hey, did my part. I gave it a shake. Um, yeah, it doesn't touch hum, but it's not hum. So,
Yeah.
and I do think that there is a lot of really good writing. I think it can get a little tiresome whenever songs are long.
Yeah, long,
And
long. No, I enjoyed it. Similar though, it's just some of the runtimes were a little excessive in my opinion. Um, I would buy a physical copy of this one because it's still a fine album. It just kind of drags on. Now, if you were driving, I wouldn't even say if you're driving because I feel like when I'm driving, I kind of focus on my music. But if you just had this playing in your house while you're doing some chores on a Sunday morning, it probably wouldn't drag at all. So
right,
I can like it for that. The second reason though I'd like to buy it is just probably because it's probably kind of hard to get your hands on a physical copy. So if
yeah,
you had one, it would be kind of nice to have. But yeah, overall I liked it. Same boat as you though, where it's like maybe 3 or 4 songs on it that I thoroughly enjoy. The rest I didn't hate them, but it's just like
yeah,
these aren't these aren't what I would grab if the song factory was on fire. I would grab the first 3 and get out.
sure.
But moving on though, the bonus for this week. Do you want me to go or do you want to go?
You good?
Okay, so the bonus. We got Born Grippy. I mean Born Slippy. Attempt at humor.
Born drippy.
Born Old Drippy.
There you
That's
go.
Old Drippy. He's like a mold.
Yeah, for lemon squares.
Anyways, Born Slippy. Albert Hammond Jr. Runtime of 4 minutes, 4 seconds. I was honestly surprised by 2 things. Number one, you didn't choose the Born Slippy from Trainspotting by
Underworld.
Underworld. Yes, thank you, because I did not put that in here.
You know,
Second thing,
real quick, Underworld. They did the closing track in Sunshine. Like whenever the credits turn
really,
up, dun 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 dun.
really,
Yeah, they did that song. So,
okay.
yeah.
The second thing though is I didn't know what to expect after the intro. You got a free consultation from fucking Miss Cleo. Bitch, go wipe your ass now. I did not,
Like what?
especially with the over, like it kind of already sounded electronic to begin on the intro, and I was like, I don't know. Um, but it does the intro kind of sounds like a voicemail, and you did elaborate on it off mic that it was a recording. And I'll let you tell the story. I don't know if you were or not. It's really not too big of a thing. It is an interesting little tidbit, though. It's very electronic and digital sounding. The vocals are good. I really like the first minute, minute and a half. And even earlier, you were playing. I was looking at the timestamp. I'm like, well, that kind of it's a little farther into the track. I do like that too, with the musical like pauses here and there, and it just
Mhm.
kind of I don't know. It's a good song. It's a good jam. And then you were also telling me it's the guitar player for
Strokes.
the Strokes. Yes, that was interesting, and I can kind of. I literally was thinking. I was listening to this, and I was like, it kind of reminds me of. I was gonna say like the Strokes, but even like not so much. It does remind me of the Strokes as it should, but even like the Killers and just like music from that time period,
Yeah.
that genre, that feel. It reminded me a little bit of that. Not so much specifically the artist, just music from that time period. Overall, I did like it, and it's a nice sound. It's got a pretty good amount of lyrics. I didn't really find anything that jumped out at me other than just the repetition of the Born Slippy, Born Slippy. It's very catchy and it's repeated plenty, but I feel like as it should, as it's kind of like a pop electronic song. So I didn't have any gripes with that. But again, I didn't really find anything noteworthy on the lyrics that really jumped out to me that really like struck a chord with my soul. But it's a solid track, and um, this is something I would just kind of enjoy hearing as I did listening to it, as many times as I did. I didn't really set on analyzing it because I felt like it was just a good feeling track. I gave it a 3.7. I did enjoy it.
Okay. So yeah, the song opens with a voicemail a voicemail to Albert's wife received. Er, Voicemail Albert's wife received. The woman thought that his wife was sleeping with her husband. So yeah, you got a free consultation from fucking Miss Cleo, bitch. Go wipe your ass now. The guitar comes in high pitch. It's like kind of contrasted by some bass, with some quick and like upbeat drums. does have like that electronic sound that you had mentioned. Vocals come in at 23 seconds. This was my introduction to Albert as a singer and just like his like solo project. And I'm pretty impressed with his vocal performance here. I think he's pretty good. Um, Sometimes the sun goes behind the clouds. You forget the warmth that could be found. Born slippy, born slippy. The vocals kind of echo out going into the chorus. I always like the line, "There are more of us than there are of them. Every time you stop, I begin." Uh, there's a little bit of additional plucky guitar that only grows on the bridge. What happened? I'm so excited. What happened? I'm so excited. The second bridge has some more yelled delivery from Albert that I really dug. Is the moment gone? At 2:30, there's some quick little burst of guitar and drums. The dun 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 dun. Really like that. And then this like 1-2 sound that kind of like echoes twice in a row. It's just I don't know. It's very fun instrumentation. At 3:37, you know, repeats until the end of the song. I thought this was a very fun track from Albert Heyman Jr. It was the first of his solo stuff that I had heard, and to date, it's probably my favorite song of his. I gave this a 3.8 out of 5.
How long have you like had this song in your house?
2018.
Really, that long?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I had no idea.
Oh yeah, big time man.
Big
Yep,
time.
big time. So,
Time, coach.
so next week we are going to do. The album is going to be. You ready for this? Disintegration by The Cure.
Disintegration by The Cure.
The standard version. I mean, it might show up as the remastered, but not the deluxe. It's the version that's like 12 songs. And you already know like 2 or 3 songs off the album.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah, I recognize the
album art.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bonus track. We are gonna do. Let me make sure I get the wording right on this. The Night We Met by Lord Huron.
The Night We Met. Okay. Got it. It is added to my like song, so I will come back to that. All right. Well, with that being said, this has been the working hour. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, don't work too hard now.
Just to let all you guys know, our equipment died.
Yeah.
20 minutes into this.
Yeah, we had to
slave away. So if you're still listening, we thank you.
You're a real one.
God bless.